This lesson is on noun cases. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Idea nouns are words like happiness, or fervor, or gratefulness. A case is a little bit more obscure of a term. A case is a form of a noun which tells you its role in a sentence, its grammatical role. Its role in a sentence. Okay, I've left on the board here the endings, the case endings for nouns of the first declension. Nouns like nauta, nautai, sailor, or aqua, aquae, water. These white letters here are abbreviations for the 5 cases in Latin, the 5 different forms of a noun that tell you their grammatical role in the sentence. And depending on what declension, what family of nouns the noun you're looking at belongs to, it will have a different set of endings corresponding to each case. For the first declension, these are the endings that the noun will have. In the nominative, it will be a for singular, ae for plural. In the genitive, it will be ae for singular, and arum for the plural, etc. Let's write out the actual terms for these abbreviations. N stands for nominative, G stands for genitive, D for dative, A for accusative, and AB for ablative. This is the order we always write the names of the cases in, N, G, D, A, A. And the mnemonic we use to remember that, if you want one, is never go driving alone, Abby. Get it? A-B, Abby, haha. Okay, so never go driving alone, Abby. Now, each of these cases corresponds, obviously, to a grammatical role. And what is that grammatical role? For the nominative case, if a noun is in the nominative, it's going to be the subject of a sentence. If the noun is in the genitive, we can just add the word of before it in English, in your English translation of a genitive noun. Of W. W stands for whatever noun you're talking about. So if you have the word aquae for the genitive, and if we know that's in the genitive and not the nominative plural or the dative singular, because this word could actually be any of these 3 with the I ending. But if we know it's in the genitive, we're going to translate it of the water. That's our genitive translation formula. Our dative translation formula is either to or for word. So if we had aquae and it was the dative AE that we were using, we would translate that to the water or for the water. If our noun is in the accusative case, it's going to be the direct object of a sentence. The direct object is the thing that's being verbed. So if I say, I kick the water, seems improbable, but say I do, I kick the water's being kicked, so it's the direct object of the sentence. And in Latin, that would be in the accusative case. Or sometimes the accusative is used for the object of a preposition. So we're going to say slash object of prep. An example of that, one preposition is in. If I had in, and then I have the water in the accusative, so it would be aquam, then in means into when it takes the accusative. And so the only reason that aquam is in the accusative here is because it's the object of the preposition in. Now finally, for the ablative case, the ablative is sort of the catch-all case. There has a lot of different really random uses that you have to just learn one at a time. So I'm going to put X for varies, slash object of prep. So over here you see that we said in aquam, in plus the accusative means into the water. Well, the preposition in can also take nouns in the ablative case. So we could also say in qua, where now we've got our ablative ending for water. And that means something different. In plus the ablative means in the water. So you see that these cases, these forms of the noun are actually changing the meaning of the preposition. And that's why the preposition takes different cases. Alright, so we've got our uses of these various cases here. To make it easier to read, I'm just going to make some messy lines between them. So these are our translation formulae for each case. We've already seen an example of nouns in certain cases working with prepositions. Let's just translate a couple of sentences or a few sentences to get some more practice seeing how first declension nouns work in different cases. I'm going to take my handy Technicolored rag here, erase this, and okay, so let's take our vocab words from the first declension video. Reginae, reginae feminine, meaning queen. Aqua, aquae feminine, meaning water. And nauta, nautae masculine, meaning sailor. And we can use different forms of these words to make some sample sentences which illustrate the use of these different cases. So if I say, for example, Regina nautam amat, that A here tells you that Regina is nominative, and that AM here tells you that nautam is accusative. So this is going to be the direct object, nautam, in the sentence, and Regina is going to be the subject, nominative. So the subject is the part of speech that does the verbing, that controls the verb. So the queen loves. The queen is the one who's loving. And the direct object, nautam, is the thing that's being verbed, that's being loved. So our sentence is, the queen loves the sailor. We can very easily reverse this sentence and make the sailor love the queen. All we have to do is change nautam to nauta. So now it's in the nominative. We'll change regina to reginam. And then we'll bring down our amat. And now you have the sailor loves the queen. What if we want to use plural sailors. We'll make it a little, crazy in here. Then we'll change the number from singular to plural of the sailors. They're still in the nominative because AE can be a nominative plural ending. So now you have the sailors. I'm going to have them love, amant is our plural ending for love, the queen. We'll bring that back down. The sailors love the queen. What else can we do here? What if we say Regina aquae nautam amat? Oh, barely makes it. So we have the queen is in the nominative again, but then you have this word aquae, which actually could be three things. It could be genitive singular, it could be dative singular, and it could be nominative plural. We don't know yet, so we keep reading. We have the queen, something to do with water, the sailor, as the direct object, loves. Well, you know this is nominative, so you have a subject. So the queen loves the sailor, because you know this is accusative. Aquae, therefore, cannot be this, right? Because we already have a subject. You can't have another nominative. So it has to be genitive or dative. And our translation formula for the genitive is of. Our translation formula for the dative is to or for. So we could say the queen loves the sailor for the water, or we could say the queen of the water loves the sailor. And I think that works better. Maybe she's a mer queen or something. So the queen of the water loves the sailor, and that makes sense. She loves the sailor because she's the queen of water, right? Okay, so that's an illustration of how we can use the genitive. We could just as easily have said the queen of the waters loves the sailors, aquarum, and then you wouldn't have had to disambiguate. There wouldn't have been any confusion between the genitive singular, the dative singular, and the nominative plural, which you now can't see. Hi. Okay. What about the dative case, to or for? Let's have a sample sentence that involves the dative case. Let's say that the sailor, nauta, as the subject, aquam, water, as the direct object, reginae, dot. Dot means gives. So I've written the sailor, water, to the queen, gives. The sailor gives water to the queen in the dative. You could also say the sailor gives the water of the queen, making this genitive singular, but then who is he giving it to? We don't know, so I like saying the sailor gives water to the queen better. And again, reginae here cannot be nominative plural. It cannot have this AE because it is, dot is a singular verb, and it already has this singular subject, nauta. It can't have a plural subject, reginae, and you can't have two nominatives both being the subject of this verb. Finally, let's have another example of the ablative case. If you remember, we said that in aqua meant in the water, so ablative with a preposition. So let's say that the queen, in the nominative, the queen in aqua, or you could even say, to make more sense, you could say the queen who in the water is The sailor loves the sailor. So that's another way of saying the queen of the water loves the sailor. The mer queen loves the sailor. The queen in the water, the queen who is in the water, loves the sailor. And now aqua, needs this little macron so that we can be absolutely sure that it is ablative with the preposition in hooray. Oh, massive break of the yellow chalk.